back, everyone, and if you're new here to the channel, welcome. I'm DarkHour717, and this is the weekly news review for Star Citizen Universe. Here we'll go over the latest and greatest information with the new episodes of Inside Star Citizen and Star Citizen Live, and a roadmap roundup. There's plenty to cover. Before we get into all the details, though, if you like these updates, do me a huge favor and hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help get the videos out to more people, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, you can catch the live streams here on YouTube on Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and on Twitch every Tuesday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time as well. So recently, we've seen continued testing in PTU 318, with Wave 2 opening up last week and increasing the PTU testing pool to a larger scale. And for those unfamiliar with the waves and what they mean, the breakdown of PTU is done in 4 parts. First is the Auec wave, which is the smallest group and is a select number of people that have been invited to be the first testers based on their issue council contributions and extended history of participating in bug discoveries and feature testing. This wave is by invite only, and those involved are under a strict NDA in regard to the content and features that they see in their testing phase. Auec is typically the worst performing and most bug-filled version of the patch. Wave 1 is the next wave, and this is where concierge and subscribers are invited to participate in the testing. This is once a great number of bugs have been discovered by the Auec and corrected, and the patch is a little bit more playable. Though Wave 1 does not have a guarantee of stability, generally this patch is much more playable and can also become unplayable at times based on releases to the PTU and whatever changes they make. Wave 1 can last any time length from a few days to weeks or longer if needed based on the stability and performance of the patch. Wave 2 will come next in most cases, though at times may even be skipped, and this is the active participation wave. We see at this time backers who are very active in the issue council reporting but are not concierge or subscribers being invited. This again will open up the testing pool to more people, increasing the feedback to CIG on the performance. This can last for any time frame or, as mentioned, be skipped over entirely. Finally, we see open PTU, or what they consider Wave 3, in which the PTU is open to all players that have an account. One key thing to remember here, though, is if you have a gifted starter pack, then access to the PTU is not available. A lot of times people will ask on Spectrum, why do the waves? Is it more beneficial to immediately open up PTU to everyone and accomplish as much feedback as possible in the shortest amount of time? The more player base that has access, the quicker you find the issues, but not necessarily. Keep in mind the purpose of the Issue Council report is to bring information to CIG on issues experienced. Most of the time, these issues are determined by the number of reports along with the verification and contributions from other players. But also at the same time, the number of reports that are placed that are not necessarily bugs but could be, or related to a player's hardware or network, need to be filtered out, as well as just the number of reports flowing in. Gradually increasing the number of testers allows CIG to maintain control of the speed and pace of the information being submitted, better improving their ability to weed out items that are low importance or incorrectly reported and focus in on the ones that are the most heavily reported. As we all know, the issues with the largest contributions and verification make it to the top of the list, along with bugs already known and being worked on by CIG. Very simply, maintaining a manageable flow of information is much easier and key in discovering the most dire issues than what benefit immediately opening the floodgates of information and not being able to sort through it fast enough to discover the patterns. Typically, after the PTU opens to all backers, we will see this last from anywhere from a couple days to maybe a couple weeks at most, at which point the patch is pushed to the live servers. So hopefully this brief breakdown will help those unfamiliar have a little better understanding in how the PTU works. The PTU itself is running on the latest patch released Friday. With this patch, we see a weekend-long Xenothreat test and playthrough being ran, with Phase 1 announcements starting late Friday, and Phase 2 and 3 running through Saturday and Sunday, with Phase 4 completion running on Monday. Of course, those familiar with Xenothreat know all the action occurs during Phase 2 and 3. This is where you are actually retrieving the cargo and taking on Xenothreat fleet in attempts to thwart them off. With the last playthrough of Xenothreat, we saw a number of issues, including invisible player combatants that were attacking those attempting to complete the event. And being undetectable made it impossible to really defend yourself and really ruined the event for several people. Other issues were those related to the servers in general, Problems with the trams and mass transit systems across the verse, making it impossible for several players to even get out of their hab areas to get off-world to begin the event. So would the latest patch from Friday be any different? So far, reports have seen issues in SC testing chat not to be out of the ordinary. We see some issues and concerns with several players experiencing a crash to desktop when tractor beaming a dead body. Many report excessively long load times, upwards of 5 minutes or more, on first launch into the latest patch. We also see random reports of medical kiosks still not offering the ability to sell, as no items appear in the kiosk screen, and this is listed in known issues as well and is marked as fixed in a future build. As for the latest patch's other known issues, what we do see listed is a number of carryover items from previous nodes. These also include Wallace Klim is missing from the drug lab in Grim Hex. Also ASOP terminals. When storing a ship, the terminal will set the ship status to claim instead of retrieve. A retrieved ship delivered to a docking port will be missing its collision. Selling some of the cargo while the vehicle is stored causes the cargo to show at max inventory capacity, and large amounts of cargo sold at once will cause the transaction to fail, and the cargo will be taken with no money dispersed. This is actually just to name a few, though we do still see several issues listed with the elevators and their usage, as well as issues with ongoing salvage concerns and salvageable areas on several ships reacting properly. The known issue list, though, has stayed consistent over the last couple of patches. Bug fixes have been consistent for the most part as well, with several being made over the last few patches, though only one made in this recent patch, and that was to fix ships spawning in with hull damage after a fresh claim. Though more quality of life improvements have been made for the ultra wide screen players out there, and this is with new visor support for various aspect ratios and high field of views, adding 4x3, 16x9, 21x9, 32x9, and 48x9 visor meshes, which get swapped out based on current aspect ratio. Visor mesh will be dynamically aligned onto the camera surface, so it will always encompass the entire screen. No more custom horizontal FOVs based on aspect ratio will be calculated automatically from vertical limits now. Increase vertical field of view limit from 54 to 67 to 54 to 90 since it's working now with the dynamic visor. They also fixed black band low res visor in Area 18. Finally, they fixed the issue with med guns working in armistice zones as well, and again, as history has shown, this is a major issue. This weekend will be a great test and determining factor, I believe, on whether they're close to going to an open PTU. We will definitely be getting in and running through Xenothreat and some other activities, and I have my fingers crossed that we're going to see us get closer to the end goal of reaching a push to live. After that, we saw this week the Cormor celebration begin, and this, of course, is the in-game holiday that runs in conjunction with the real world's Valentine's Day. What we see up for offer is a variety of new Love-Struck paints, with last year's Ares, Nomad, and Hover Quad once again being available, adding to it this year the Anvil Arrow, the RSI Scorpius, and the Tumbril Cyclone. These ships actually look very sharp in this paint, and this is one of my favorites to become available each year. What we also see is the Hornet Heartseeker, a sleek variant of the Super Hornet, available for pledge as well as Warbound cross-chassis upgrade. The Cormor Festival is the only place that you can actually get the Heartseeker, and this is a once-a-year event to be able to grab it while you can. With other sales available on the Ares, the Arrow, and all variants of the Cyclones, as well as the Hover Quad, Nomad, and the Scorpius, we see a lot of available options out there. We also got the Subscriber Flare, and that's been launched to the hangars with 3 armors in a Cormor color scheme, with the Star-Crossed and Love-Struck armors being placed in hangars for subscribers based on their subscription level, and the 3rd armor, the Envy, available in the subscriber store. But we will also see the Banu Defender added to the subscriber store, as well as added to our hangars to fly as the ship of the month. And if you do get the Banu Defender from the subscriber store, you get that extended insurance for being a subscriber, and hope everybody enjoys flying this throughout February, as it is again free to fly. We recently got information on 2953 CitizenCon, and as we already knew from Sandy Roberts' visit with Jared, CitizenCon will be held in Los Angeles this year, and the date has been set to October 21st. We will of course bring you more information as it gets released as far as venue and ticketing information. This is one event that many love to attend each year, and one that if you have the opportunity you should not miss out on. Recently, we did receive the PU monthly report for January, as well as the monthly Squadron 42 report in an email, and the Squadron 42 report should now be on the RSI website. These reports, as stated before, are the in-depth description of the past month's work and development in both the PU and Squadron 42. The PU and Squadron 42 report is available now on the RSI website, and the link is going to be in the description. Also received this week via email was a sneak peek at what looks to be a new variant of a current ship that is planned for 318. Could this be an EMP Mantis or a QED Scorpius? The Galactopedia update for the month was released as well, and this brings us 20 short articles alongside with one full-length article, ranging from information on the Oratani system, the Drake Cutter, the University of Persei, and the full-length article on J. Harris Arnold, the founder of Anvil Aerospace. For those that follow the lore, a link to the update is in the description. With a new roadmap roundup out Wednesday, we did see Alpha 319 brought up, stating the next update following the release of Alpha 318 will come before Invictus launch week, and will feature a variety of new and exciting content, and you can read about it below. Although this update will be designated as Alpha 319, it will be built on the Alpha 318 code base. Our production teams are currently evaluating the feasibility of integrating originally planned 319 content into the Alpha 318 branch. In the release view, the Lorville Cityscape, the salvage contracts, the Ghost Hollow PvP missions, and new player experience improvements for the first 30 minutes that a player is in Star Citizen from the time they sign up have all been added to the 319 release view. An update to the community hub has also occurred, and a link in the description for more details is available, though as a breakdown we now see the ability to highlight a specific event such as a holiday or community type event, and this is done by placing in the forefront through its own tab at the top of the community hub. Being able to see all the content related to that event with the ability to browse for future as well as past events and related content. With Inside Star Citizen this week, they did focus on the road to 4.0, and we get to see a look at interiors of buildings with Ian Leyland, an art director in interior design. A look at what the future could bring with the focus on incorporating the interior buildings and landing zones into the game. Through the different types of uses and features, they look at briefly everything from the lobbies to the mechanical spaces and living spaces. The designs and concepts look amazing, and production of some of these spaces are set to begin at the end of the first quarter in 2023. This of course brings us to the latest from Star Citizen Live, and this week it really was more of a meet the team members from the vehicle team. It was a program just focused with getting to know the team, their history, and their background. Some interesting information to come from it is the fact that the Santoki is in production, though this was previously known. Elwyn states several really cool ships are in production, but does not give any details as to what they are. And Elwyn states that they're working with really cool ideas that they've never done before. Also, it is stated that they are moving on to the X1 now that the white box for the Santoki is done, and Jared attempts to do a quick cover when it is stated that hopefully that the X1 will be done this year. After the vehicle team, we see the next guest be quick fill-ins as the scheduled guests had to cancel. This was filled in by the Frankfurt and Montreal lighting team. As it was an unexpected fill-in, it was much shorter than the usual segment, which left Jared with about 15 minutes in which he did an impromptu disco discuss this segment and to break down the build system and what the structure of the system is. Overall, not the most informative show, though Jared's breakdown of the build system is very interesting. A link to this as well as the Inside Star Citizen will be in the description. And that is about it for this week, so I hope that you found the update interesting and useful. Leave a comment and let me know what your thoughts are. Remember, you can catch the stream here on YouTube every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and over on Twitch every Tuesday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time as well. And if you do want to help support the channel, it is greatly appreciated. Just check out the merch store, or you can hit the join button above to become a member. I do want to say thank you to all of you for watching, and please be safe out there, and we will catch you in the verse.